My name is Yanling Chen. I do the first part of video.
I'm Zhiwei Yu. I will translate the second part of this video.
Hello everyone, my name is董仲蠡, and I'm an English trainer. I've trained at least 150,000 students. I've taught the top student who scored first in the city on a graduate entrance exam. The number of people who have listened to my class every year and passed college English test is countless. My students trust me, love me, call me Teacher Dong. I also like this title very much. However, as a teacher, I always have some confusion sometimes. I teach most of exam courses like a college English test, postgraduate English, and so on. Once when I talk about the band for English translation, I talk about how Mr. Lin Yutang translated Jia Dao's asking the child under the pine, saying that master went to collect medicine, and how Mr. Xu Yuanchong translated Li Qingzhao seeking and searching, cold and cure, miserable and tragic, and talk about how Mr. Wang Zhuoliang translated Samuel Ullman, the youth to the age is added, but not in good age. But if the dream is abandoned, the person falls into light. When I talk about this, I can't help but get emotional. The pride of being teacher is overwhelming. However, at that moment, there's a girl off the stage directly questioned me and said, "What's the use of you talking about this stuff? Can we raise the score? You're just wasting our time." I'm quite articulate, but at that moment, I was speechless. Yes, she was right. It's useless. It doesn't raise the score. But student, I'm not wasting your time. Because at that moment, I'm not teaching you how to take a test. I'm doing education. As a teacher, an educator, I hope that what I teach in classroom is more than just practical knowledge. Because if we simply teach knowledge and teach skills, we have already lost. In 1997, Deep Blue, a computer developed by IBM, challenged Kasparov, the world top-ranked chess master. Kasparov, who claimed to be fighting for human dignity, lost to Deep Blue with a record of 1 win, 2 losses, and 3 draws. At that time, some people said that chess is too easy. Look at the profoundness of a game of Go and the endless variation. Try having a computer play Go. 20 years later, in the first half of the year, AlphaGo, an artificial intelligence program developed by Google, beat the world Go champion Li Sido by 4-1. The man-machine war once again ended with the ending of the machine winning. There was really a slap in the face for those people. Artificial intelligence, smarter than people. Network information, more knowledge than people. Computer response faster than people. We have now heard some parents have such comments. You see, now literature or history knowledge can be found on the internet. There's no need to memorize them. Math and physics, with help of AI, does not even need to calculate. Translation software is increasingly advanced. Foreign languages do not need to learn. What is the use of education? What is it? Yes. What is the use of education? Joke was popular on the internet some time ago. Said the reason why we have to read more and get more education is because when we see a flock of birds flying over the lake, we can recite the poetry.
我们能吟诵出落霞
Sunset and the lonely duck is flying together. The autumn water is the same as the lone sky.
而不是在那儿吵着
Instead of saying that, holy crap, there's a lot of birds.
当我们去
When we go by and ride a horse galloping,
时，
we can say to ourselves the poetry.
大漠
The
孤
desert is lonely and straight. The lone river is full of sunset.
而不是在那儿喊哎妈都死
Rather than shouting, oops, it's all sand. Let's just go back.
当然这是一种调侃
Of course, it's kind of radical, but unconsciously speaks the core meaning of education.
核心含义。教育
Education is not only about passing knowledge to people,
提高个人的修
but also about improving personal cultivation,
定的
enhance our sense of life,
而更好的认
so
知。
that we can know ourselves better and continuously improve ourselves.
我认
I
为
believe, I believe that this is the core purpose of the education
指引我们前行
and a
的
beacon of hope to guide us on our journey.
其实
In fact, not only the student,
是
but also our teachers
因为追逐
have lost themselves in the pursuit of fame and fortune and become restless.
也开始变得浮躁。考试前我们压
Before the exam, we bet on the questions we predict,
又牵强
and
地
after the exam, we force ourselves to say that how many questions we had bet on, and how many students, because of their own study, improved how many points.
老师高明，
Created the illusion of joyfulness, and teachers are brilliant, students are superb, parents are happy.
的假象。当年我对
Back
研
then, I was eager to study exam technique,
选项怎么选，
how to choose options.
三长一短
Remember that, student.
三短
Choose the shortest answer from the other longer ones. Choose the longest answer from the other shorter
选
ones.
四 D 嘛，
Choose the answer B if length of choice is same. Choose answer D if the length of choice is different, isn't it?
同学们
Students
特别的满
are
招
particularly receptive to me
考试
and granted me as an exam god,
人
idol,
生导师
and life coach.
慢慢
They
的
gradually
开始
began
让
to
我
ask
些
me about
跟
things
学习不
that
直
are
接相
not
关的
directly related to study.
老师，
Mr.
我
Dong,
不太想
I don't really want to
那
work.
个
Well, I see all my classmates have gone to
要不
take
我也
the
是考研
graduate school entrance exam. Should I also
老
take it?
师，我爸
Mr.
想
Dong,
让我
my father wants me to go abroad. My mother is a little worried. I'm
老
a
师你说我是
and
吃
I'm a
货
little scared too. Mr. Dong, should I go abroad or
老
not?
师那个
Mr.
我
Dong,
本科学的
I
是
have a
经济
bachelor's
硕士学的
degree
是环境
in
工程
economics
毕业
and
之后
master's
才有
degree
工作
in
老师
environmental engineering. What kind of job do you think I should do after graduation? Mr. Dong, what should I do in the
这种
future?
迷茫
This kind of confusion has become a common phenomenon.
变的现象，
We have been
我们教
we
了
have been
10
teaching for more than 10 years.
学了
Students have been studying for more than 10 years.
我们竟然不知道
You don't even know what to do.
西方的
The
先贤们
Western sages
说
have
哲学
proposed
三
the
大
three ultimate questions of
从
philosophy
哪儿来
a long time ago. Where do I come from? Who am
我
I?
要去哪儿
Where am I going?
我们之所以
The
不知道
reason why we don't know what to do with ourselves is because we don't know who we are, and this is great loss
而这
and tragedy of
是教育的
education.
巨大缺失，悲哀。自古强大的
Since
民族
ancient times, powerful
是重视
nations
教育的
have been nations that highly value education.
德国
The education in Israel,
支持
Germany, and
国家的
Japan
教育
is a model for the whole world to learn from.
以色列小学
Israelis open
就开始
religion
教
classes since elementary
在德
school,
国
and in
学
Germany,
生
philosophy
哲
is
学是
compulsory
必
for
修的
secondary school
我们去
students.
日本访问的时候
When we
看
visited
到日
Japan,
本的大学生
we saw
是
that
会要
Japanese
有
college
反复
students go to
学
activities
还
such
要
as
去
tea
参加
ceremony
茶
training
道培训
and art
以线上
appreciation,
这样的活
addition
动
to their
我们
heavy
同行的
academic
一位老
workload.
师当时就问了一个
At that
特
time,
别惊艳
one
的
of our
这
fellow
有
teachers
啥
asked a
用啊
particularly classic question. What's the point of
日本的
this?
老师非
The
常
Japanese
赞同
teacher was very nonchalant, and asked and said, these activities are an important part of education and are a way to cultivate the mind in order to better enable the students to understand themselves. Yes, without knowing ourselves, how can we possibly know what we want to do in the future? If individuals don't know what they want to do, it's much less for countries and nations. Then, how can there still be a strong Israel in the midst of war? And how can there be Germany and Japan rising above the ruins of World War II? But our country, our nation is even more so. China is known as a country with an ancient civilization. After 1,000 years of hardship, the spirit stays intact, and through millions adversity, the country always reborn, because we attach great importance to education and honor teachers and moral principles. The great educator Confucius has been established as the spiritual totem of our culture as early as the origin of it. And for the persistence of education, even in the hardest times, there are always people who do not abandon. There are always someone who pick up education again, polish it, and return it to our altar. Once, we said that studying is useless. Talent and knowledge are not proportional to wealth, which led to the unsettled state of the society. But anything can be unsettled except education. What's education? Education is the bottom line of social conscience, the pure land of the human soul, the foundation of building China, the foundation of strengthening China. What's education for? Education is to help us recognize ourselves, help this nation recognize itself. It's only then that we can take control of our personal destiny and create the future of this country. We, as educators and educated people, should always remember that education is the ultimate goal of studying, to show people a common path to follow, to inherit the untranslated thoughts of sages in the past, and to open up a foundation of permanent peace for the future generations of the world. So, when I lecture next time, I will still teach students the methods and techniques of answering questions within the time limit of the course, but I will lecture for 5 more minutes. I will talk for 5 more minutes about Lin Yutang, 5 more minutes about Xu Yuanchong, 5 more minutes about Wang Zuoliang. Please don't ask me again. What's the use of this? In 5 minutes, I don't teach you how to do well in exams. Please allow me to teach the real education once. Thank you all.